Good afternoon. It is the 16th of April 2014. Many thanks for joining us on Ebru Africa News. I am Annette Akisa. We have a lot lined up for you on Africa and beyond. We'll jump straight into it and start off with matters security, where human rights groups in Kenya are urging the government to hasten the process of screening those arrested in the ongoing security operation to flush out suspected criminals. There has been widespread condemnation over the handling of the detainees, but the government insists they are being held in proper conditions. The government has been carrying out impromptu security operations aimed at getting aliens and on Monday arrested 34 people in Nairobi's South Sea Estate. The operation is an extension of what has been going on in Eastleigh Estate to flush out terror suspects and armed criminals in the city. Police say the operation will continue. Clashes between Cairo University students and police resumed yesterday after the death of a student on Monday during clashes between supporters of Egypt's ousted President Mohamed Morsi and the police in Cairo University. Police had a hard time containing the situation as they fired tear gas from outside the campus where student supporters were staging protests on university grounds. Several were injured during the confrontation. Student backers of Morsi are regularly protested on university campuses as a police crackdown on the ousted leader's supporters has weakened their ability to stage large street protests. On to health matters now. The effects of the Ebola outbreak in Guinea are now being felt by local restaurants and the tourism industry in Guinea's capital, Conakry. The country's health ministry says that the outbreak is now nearly under control.
The number of deaths caused by Ebola have slowed dramatically in Guinea and the outbreak is nearly under control. The country's health ministry said the latest toll is 106 deaths in Guinea from 159 confirmed and suspected cases of the fever since the outbreak began in February. Rafi Diallo, a spokesperson for the Guinea Ministry of Health, said the new cases being monitored were people who had been in contact with those who had fallen ill.
The epidemic is under control because we are registering practically no new cases. It's among the contacts of the cases we have already registered with those who are sick, where we are finding cases. And the deaths also generally are within the contacts. For example, we can find deaths without new cases, because still it's the contacts who are contaminated who are now in our isolation centers.
The spread of Ebola from a remote area of Guinea to the capital and into neighboring Liberia has killed about 130 people and spread panic across West African nations struggling with weak healthcare systems and porous borders. While Guinea claimed progress in containing the virus, US experts opened a lab for testing for Ebola in Liberia, and Gambia stepped up travel restrictions, banning inbound flights from collecting passengers in Guinea, Liberia and Sierra Leone. The epidemic has been banned on revenues for the local tourism. Businesses in Conakry, such as the Club Obama restaurant, have felt the pinch. Business managers say demand for commodities or services has drastically gone down.
During these days, since they declared that Ebola was in Guinea, I really see that the number of customers has decreased a lot, because the clients usually when they came, it was to get a lunch dish. During rest breaks, there was always customers. And the expatriates, everyone came to eat.
The World Health Organization, WHO, said earlier this month that it would take 2 to 4 hours to contain the Ebola outbreak, which it said had been one of the most challenging it had ever faced. The menace of Ebola was enough to cause companies such as Emirates Airline to suspend all flights to the country.
Moving on, suspected insurgents abducted more than 100 female students in a night raid on a government secondary school in Nigeria's northeast Borno state. The gunmen, believed to be members of the Boko Haram group, which has attacked schools in the northeast before as part of their anti-government rebellion, carried off the students from the school in Chibok.
Gunmen reportedly arrived at the school in Chibok, Borno State, and ordered the hostel's teenage residents onto rollies after killing 2 security officers guarding the school. The exact number of missing students had yet to be established, as some of the girls had managed to return to their homes. Boko Haram has repeatedly attacked schools in the northeast during an insurgency that has killed thousands since 2009. The raid took place on the same day as a bomb attack on the edge of the capital, Abuja. The blast killed at least 75 people, the deadliest ever attack on Abuja, and raised questions about the government's ability to protect the capital from an insurrection that risks spreading the Islamist group's heartland in the northeast. Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan has pointed the finger of suspicion for the bombing at Boko Haram, although the group, which has ties with Al-Qaeda-linked militants in the Sahara, has made no statement claiming responsibility.
Back to Kenya now. Kenya's transition to a green economy is on the right path, according to a report by the United Nations Environmental Programme. The report shows if the trend is sustained, greenhouse emission would be 9% lower by 2030. The report, which also examines economic impacts of green investments under different scenarios, reveals that positive returns could be realized within 6 to 7 years.
According to a new study released by the government in conjunction with the United Nations Environmental Programme, Kenya's transition to a green economy could produce major economic benefits equivalent to an estimated $45 billion by 2030, food security, clean environment, and high productivity. The report further shows that Kenya is already demonstrating leadership in embracing green economy approaches in the energy, urban and natural resources sector. To achieve even greater success, the country must factor in conservation and efficient use of natural resources. That's why the Ministry of Environment will offer support to the Kenya Red Cross in its efforts to achieve a cleaner environment, bearing in mind that pollution is largely responsible for some of the disasters like drought and flooding.
On behalf of the Government of Kenya, I am most grateful for the support from partners to green economy initiatives in Kenya, and look forward to enhanced and accelerated support for the development of inclusive green economy strategy and implementation plan. There is need for a paradigm shift to take into account the limits of the natural resources and reflect the costs and benefits towards transition to sustainable and inclusive development.
Cabinet Secretary Judy Wakungu says such partnerships will help Kenya achieve its national forest cover, which currently stands at 7% to 10% as per Vision 2030.
Our Constitution of Kenya 2010 also provides for the right to a clean and healthy environment and stipulates sustainable exploitation, utilization, management, and conservation of the environment and natural resources, and work to achieve and maintain a tree cover of at least 10% of the land area.
The Kenya Red Cross will involve communities in areas of waste management and advocacy, as well as tree planting.
Of the 10 billion trees that are to be planted in the next 5 years, Kenya Red Cross is committing itself to planting 2.5 billion. Number two is about waste management, where we're saying working in urban areas, in the communities, involving communities, women, children, and community involvement in also recycling this so that we can work on waste management issue. And number three is the issue of advocacy and education in schools, in communities, and everywhere. Using the network of staff and volunteers that we have is what we commit ourselves to.
The Green Economy Assessment Report shows that the transition to an inclusive, low-emission, resource-efficient green economy will result in stronger economic growth and increased wealth creation opportunities by 2021. Deforestation has brought much environmental degradation, but with such initiatives like this today that has just been launched, then deforestation would be a thing of the past. For Ebra Africa News in Nairobi, Kenya, I'm Miriam Kanyugo.
Now, 5 people have been stabbed to death at a house party in Calgary, Canada, in what has been dubbed the worst mass murder in the city's history. The attack happened near the city's university campus at a students' party. 3 men were found dead at the party house, while another man and a woman died from their wounds at hospital.
Canadian police call it the worst mass murder in Calgary's history. 5 people, all in their 20s, were stabbed to death early Tuesday at this house party near the University of Calgary. Calgary Police Chief Rick Hansen says the lone suspect is a student at the university and was an invited guest.
The suspect arrived at the party, obtained a large knife, and targeted the victims one by one, stabbing them several times. When our officers arrived, 3 young men were discovered deceased in the home. An injured female was also found inside the home and taken to the hospital in critical condition, suffering from stab wounds. Another male, also suffering from stab wounds, was discovered on the front lawn and transported to the hospital in critical conditions. They both succumbed to their injuries.
Police say the students were celebrating the end of their school year. About 20 people were at the party during the attack.
We have never seen 5 people killed by an individual at one scene. So the scene was horrific.
The suspect is now in custody. Police say he's a son of a veteran Calgary police officer and that drugs and alcohol don't seem to be factors. They haven't offered a motive for the killings.
These were all good kids. There's no question about that. They did nothing wrong, and nothing that they did contributed to what happened to them.
In other news, about 160 passengers, including high school students, were plucked to safety in a dramatic rescue from a South Korean passenger ferry sinking with 475 on board. South Korean officials said the rescue operation was still underway and it was difficult to offer any confirmed information about the remaining 300 or so people on board.
The ferry, identified as Sewol, was carrying 475 passengers and crew and 150 vehicles, according to Korean port authorities, when it began to tilt badly as it neared Jeju Island, about 100 kilometers south of the Korean peninsula. Within hours, the ferry was lying on its port side. Soon after, the ship had completely capsized, with only the forward part of its white and blue hull showing above the water. Officials say one person had been found dead inside the sinking ferry, while another dead soon after at a local hospital. A distress signal was sent from the ship early, triggering a rescue operation involving dozens of ships and helicopters. There was no immediate indication of what caused the ship to capsize.
Well, that story wraps up our bulletin today. Be sure to join us at 9 p.m. for a more comprehensive bulletin. I am Annette Akisa. Have a lovely afternoon.
New Line Limited, we offer current, stylish, state-of-the-art kitchen and wardrobe appliances tailored to suit your preference. We offer unit transfers within Nairobi. Let your kitchen stand out today by visiting us at Chester House, Loiter Street. Your comfort and satisfaction comes first.
Floma Professional Makeup.
Does your exterior complement your interior? Everyone needs a home that is inspired by nature. At Yenbo Limited, we offer durable, energy-efficient and affordable UPVC windows in attractive colors. Visit us at Wall Street Business Park off Mombasa Road. Yenbo UPVC windows, your desire, our challenge.
Floma Professional Makeup.